At our class reunion, my wife, Alicia, clung to her high school sweetheart, Mark, laughing, touching, looking like nothing had changed in the years since they were teenagers. I stood at the bar, watching, my hands wrapped tightly around my drink, trying to ignore the bitter taste of betrayal that settled in my throat. The smile on her face, the way she leaned into him, it all felt too familiar, too intimate. But she didn't know what I was about to do. She didn't know that everything was about to shatter. It had started innocently enough. She was excited about the reunion. Alicia loved these events, catching up with old friends, reminiscing about high school days. We'd been together for 6 years, married for 3, and everything had been fine, or so I thought. But lately, I'd noticed the cracks. It was subtle at first, easy to dismiss. The extra time she spent in the bathroom, the messages she deleted before I could glance at her phone, the night she came home late from work, claiming a late meeting that never seemed to end on time. At first, I told myself it was nothing, life gets busy, right? But the nagging feeling grew, like a shadow I couldn't shake. One night, I went to bed early, hoping to surprise her. But as I lay there, wide awake, I heard her phone vibrate on the nightstand. I glanced over. She was still in the shower. The message preview caught my eye. It was from Mark, one of those harmless "Hey, how've you been?" kind of messages, but something about it felt off. She'd been in contact with him more than I realized. A few days later, I saw her phone again. This time, she didn't delete it fast enough. A single line of text caught my attention: "I can't wait to see you at the reunion." My heart sank, and my stomach twisted into knots. This wasn't just a friendship. There was something more. The seeds of doubt had been planted, and they began to grow. I tried to push the thoughts away, tried to trust her, but the truth kept whispering in the back of my mind. I began to notice the little things: the way she flinched when I reached for her hand, how she hesitated when I kissed her goodbye, as if she was thinking of someone else. I didn't want to confront her, not yet. I wasn't ready to face the possibility that the woman I loved could betray me. But I couldn't ignore the signs anymore. Something was wrong. The reunion arrived on a warm Saturday evening. Alicia had spent hours getting ready, looking perfect, as she always did. I noticed her excitement as we prepared to leave. But it wasn't just excitement for the reunion, it was something else, something hidden behind her smile. She kept checking her phone, replying to messages in a way that felt secretive. It didn't sit right with me, but I didn't want to ruin her night. So I kept quiet, plastering a smile on my face, pretending everything was fine. As soon as we arrived at the venue, it became clear I was the third wheel in our marriage. Alicia sought out Mark immediately, practically running to him as soon as she spotted him across the room. I tried to keep my cool, but the jealousy burned in my chest, a constant ache I couldn't shake. The way Mark looked at her, the way they laughed, how she kept touching his arm, leaning in close, it was too much. She had changed. I could feel it in the way she was looking at him, the way she was so at ease in his presence. They talked for what felt like hours, while I stood off to the side, nursing my drink, pretending I didn't care. But I did. I cared too much. This was my wife, the woman I had trusted, and she was acting like she didn't even know I existed. Then, the moment came. Mark pulled her aside, a private conversation, away from the crowd. It wasn't the first time tonight they had been alone, but this time, I noticed something I had missed earlier. Alicia's eyes. She was gazing at him, not like a friend, not like a reunion buddy. She was gazing at him like she wanted him. The realization hit me like a punch to the gut. I couldn't take it anymore. I had to know the truth. So I followed them, keeping a distance, just enough to stay out of sight. They went into a quieter corner of the venue, their voices low, but I could hear snippets of their conversation. "I've missed you so much, Alicia." "You have no idea," Mark said, his voice thick with emotion. "I know." "I've missed you too, Mark," Alicia responded, her voice softer than I'd ever heard it before. She sounded vulnerable. The words hung in the air, cold and sharp. My mind raced. Was I hearing this right? They missed each other? It felt like my heart was being ripped from my chest. I waited for them to finish, but as I stood there, hidden in the shadows, I saw something that shattered me completely. Mark reached out and cupped Alicia's face in his hands. She didn't pull away. In fact, she closed her eyes, leaning into him, letting him touch her. The air was thick with unspoken tension. In that moment, I knew. I knew everything. I could have walked up to them, screamed, made a scene. But I wasn't going to let them have that satisfaction. I wasn't going to give her the easy way out. No, I was going to make them both pay, and I was going to do it on my terms. I went back to the bar and ordered another drink, my mind racing, but my face a mask of calm. I could feel the plan forming, taking shape. I wasn't going to let my emotions rule me, not yet. I needed proof. Solid, irrefutable proof. Something that would destroy them both. I spent the next hour watching them, biding my time. I noticed that Alicia had become more distant, more engrossed in Mark than in me. When she finally went to the restroom, I slipped over to Mark. I was careful, nothing too obvious, nothing too bold. But I needed to plant the seed, make him think I was clueless. "Hey, man," I said casually, trying to sound relaxed. "I can see you two are really hitting it off tonight." He chuckled nervously, clearly unaware of how much I knew. "Yeah, you know how it is. We're just catching up." "Yeah, just catching up," I repeated, leaning in a little closer. "Funny how sometimes the past never really stays in the past, huh?" He shifted uncomfortably. "What do you mean by that?" I smiled, my voice low. "Nothing. Just thinking about how things used to be, that's all." He looked at me for a moment, his eyes narrowing. Then Alicia came back, and the moment passed. But I had made my point. I had gotten under his skin, just like I'd planned. I needed more, though. I needed something to make sure they'd both regret crossing me. I spent the next few weeks gathering evidence: text messages, emails, photos. Every time Alicia left the house, I followed her, capturing moments that she thought no one would see. I planted cameras in places I knew she'd go. It wasn't easy, and it wasn't pretty. But it was necessary. I needed to see the betrayal with my own eyes, and I needed to be sure. When I finally had it all, every text, every photo, every detail, I started to make my move. The day of reckoning came sooner than I expected. Alicia thought she was in the clear, but she didn't know I was already 3 steps ahead. I invited her to dinner, a quiet, intimate night out. She was wearing that dress I liked, the one that always made her smile when I complimented her. But tonight, I wasn't looking at her with love. Tonight, I was looking at her with cold, calculating eyes. We sat down at the table, the tension between us palpable. She kept glancing at her phone, probably waiting for Mark to text her. But tonight, I was in control. "Alicia," I said softly, my voice steady. "I've been thinking a lot about us." She looked up, her eyes narrowing, already on guard. "What do you mean?" I didn't answer right away. Instead, I slid my phone across the table, the photos, the messages, the evidence I had painstakingly collected, all laid out in front of her. "What is this?" she asked, her voice trembling. "I think you know," I replied, my voice colder than I'd ever heard it. "Tell me, Alicia, how long were you planning on keeping this from me?" She stared at the phone, the color draining from her face. Her lips parted, but no words came out. For the first time in years, I saw her, truly saw her. Vulnerable. Defenseless. "Mark wasn't just your high school sweetheart, was he?" I pressed. "He was your secret." Her eyes darted around the restaurant, like she was looking for a way out. But there was no escape. I'm sorry, Don't. Just don't." "You've already destroyed everything," I interrupted, my voice sharp. "You and Mark, you've been playing me for months. behind my back, sneaking around like cowards. You thought I wouldn't find out. Tears welled up in her eyes, but I didn't feel sorry for her. I couldn't. Not anymore. I'll tell you what's going to happen now, I said, my words measured. You're going to leave here, and you're going to tell Mark that your little secret's over. You're going to tell him that I know everything, and that I'm going to make sure both of you pay for what you've done. The fallout was swift and brutal. Alicia and Mark's affair was exposed for everyone to see. The public humiliation was complete. Alicia lost her job after her company found out, her reputation crumbling under the weight of her lies. Mark, too, faced the consequences. His friends turned on him, his family disowned him. The scandal spread, and neither of them could escape the fallout. But for me, it was different. I was free. I had one. Alicia tried to reach out after everything fell apart, but I ignored her. I didn't need her anymore. I was stronger now, unburdened by the weight of her betrayal. I moved on, found a new life, one where I was in control. And when I looked back, I didn't see the broken man who had been deceived. I saw the man who had risen from the ashes, stronger than ever, and ready to take on the world.